Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates.
Hi, welcome to Court Reporter with Stovall and Associates. I'm your host, Mike Iglinski. We have a very special guest tonight. Actually, we're only going to do one guest tonight instead of our usual two. Today on the show, we're going to have attorney Gary Melton. He's actually with our firm, Stovall and Associates. And Gary is here to talk to us about a couple of things. One, about bankruptcy, and the other thing we're going to talk about is some workers' comp issues, which are the two practice fields that Gary primarily focuses in. So welcome to the show, Gary. Appreciate you being here.
It's good to be here.
All right. Well, anyway, I just want to talk to you a little bit about some of your background. You know, how you came here, family life. You know, are you originally from Nevada?
I'm not. I was born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah, and loved it there, but I'm loving it here in Nevada.
So then you Salt Lake City, and then where did you attend college?
I initially went to BYU, Idaho. I went there for 2 years, and then I transferred to Utah State, and I got a bachelor's degree in economics, and worked a year, and then I decided that I would go to law school.
And so then law school, you ended up being at Boyd in Las Vegas.
That's correct.
Yeah. So anyway, so that's how you landed here. Why'd you stay in Las Vegas?
Well, I like it here, and I clerked for Mr. Stovall while I was in law school. He offered me a job, and I liked where I was at, so I decided to stay. And
you've been a licensed attorney in Nevada for almost, what, 2 years now?
It's been about 2 years.
About 2 years, so that's great. Anyway, so that's some of your professional experience. So what else do you do outside of the law firm?
As far as like
social and everything else?
Sure. I like to play basketball a lot. I'm short, but I think I'm fairly quick. So I like to play basketball. I play a couple times a week. And then in the winter, I really enjoy skiing. Yeah,
you're a really great skier, I've heard.
Well, I don't know about that, but
expert level.
I try. I try.
All right. Anyway, so well, the reason why I brought you on tonight, because a couple of reasons. One, I mean, obviously, bankruptcy is kind of a hot topic these days.
Sure.
You know, unfortunately, with a tough economy, extremely tough in the greater Las Vegas area, we have the highest unemployment rate. I think I just saw statistics. It was 14.6%, I believe, unemployment, something like that. Not even counting underemployment, which would put us, I think, somewhere in the low 30s, which is pretty incredible. But a lot of people having hard times. So, you know, we're getting a lot of phone calls about these short sales and also foreclosures on properties. And one of the things they're always asking us about are bankruptcies. And there's a lot of questions about, you know, what exactly can be discharged in a bankruptcy? What function does a bankruptcy serve? And then also, you know, questions from people that are creditors saying, you know, if somebody in fact does declare bankruptcy, you know, what are my rights? So it's a fairly complex subject, but I'm glad you're on to talk about it because, frankly, when people call me, I go, I don't know. So anyway, couple of different types of bankruptcy out there. The most common is Chapter 7. Tell us a little bit about what's the Chapter 7 versus a Chapter 13 and then ultimately Chapter 11.
Okay, sure. Well, a Chapter 7 is basically you're telling the court, here's all my assets, here's all my debts, and there'll be a trustee that's assigned to the case. And what the trustee is looking at is if there are any unexempt assets in the estate. Then the trustee is going to take those assets.
What would make an unexempt asset, by the way?
Well, there's several exemptions. For example, if you're filing a bankruptcy by yourself, then you can exempt one vehicle.
Okay.
So you'd list your vehicle on the petition as a piece of your personal property, and you would be able to exempt that vehicle up to $15,000. So if your vehicle is worth more than $15,000, the trustee may require you sell it, and you'd be able to get another vehicle. For a vehicle that's $15,000 or under.
So you would get $15,000 in equity in the vehicle with the intention that you could still have a way or a transportation to get you yourself to and from errands, work, whatever is related. Okay.
And typically, most people's vehicles, when you drive them off the lot, they're going to be under $15,000. So it's usually when we use that exemption, the trustee's not going to touch it.
Okay, so something like a car. Now, also, for instance, your place where you reside.
Sure, your home is an exempt asset, and so you won't lose your home. Most people now, because of the economy and the way the real estate market is, most people are underwater, meaning that the value of their home is much less than what they owe to the lender. And in that case, the trustee wouldn't even want it because it's all going to go back to the lender anyway.
Okay.
But if you did have equity in your home, that would be another asset that would be exempt.
So one of the questions I always get when it comes to real estate transaction versus with bankruptcy, if somebody was to file for bankruptcy and their house again is underwater, as you said, there's more money owed on the note than the home is actually worth, which is, I think it's what 60% of the homes in the greater Las Vegas area right now. How does that apply to somebody paying their mortgage? I mean, do they actually see any relief on their mortgage, or they still have to pay their mortgage on a regular schedule, even after a bankruptcy?
Sure. The individual would need to continue making payments and stay current on the mortgage. If they did not, it doesn't matter if they're filing for bankruptcy or not, then the lender would foreclose on the home. If you go into default on your mortgage, the lender has the right to foreclose whether there's a bankruptcy or not.
So there is an exemption if you did have equity in your home, but otherwise it kind of is a moot point if you can't afford your mortgage either way.
Sure. Although, I mean, you could still try a loan modification and try to work with the lender in making it possible for you to make those monthly payments.
Okay, so home and vehicle are exempt. What else? What else would fall as an exempt piece of property?
Well, most of your furnishings in your home, couch, TV, those types of things, up to a certain amount would be exempt. But typically, when I say typically, almost always, when people come to me to file a Chapter 7, I'm able to exempt all the assets so that the trustee is not taking anything. But there are situations where someone would have, say, house furnishings that are worth more than what could be exempt, and then the trustee would be able to take those. But it's pretty rare.
Okay. So it is really a good way to discharge some debts, you know, if you are in a hard situation without really losing your lifestyle completely, I guess, would be the way to put it.
Sure.
So anyway, well, you know, we're going to take our first break, and we'll come back and we'll talk more about means test and, you know, who actually would be able to apply or to file for bankruptcy and in what chapter.
Okay.
Okay. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Court reporter with Stovall and Associates.